Alright, y'all. Hey, I'm about to rap and shit, so I hope you enjoy.
Guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. If you are a longtime fan of this channel, you know I like to give a sort of annual iPhone, not necessarily review, but my take on the new iPhone and if I think it's worth sort of upgrading to. And today we're looking at the iPhone Pro Max 256 gigabyte model. Now, to give a little bit of context in my Apple story, I am a big Apple fan. I have owned every iPhone since the original iPhone. Not every iteration, because I always upgrade when they upgrade. So if they release, like when the year they did the, I think it was the 8, and then they did the iPhone 10, I got the 10 right away. So I haven't owned every one. I've owned the best one on yearly releases. I have an iMac. I have the Apple Watch Series 4. Not upgrading to the Series 5 because I don't think the always-on display is enough of a change. I think next year there'll be some sleep tracking, always-on display, and hopefully a little bit of a design change. So I usually do my Apple Watches every 2 years. I have the iPad Pro, which is what I do all my work on. I really don't use my iMac that much. HomePod, Apple TV, Apple Arcade, which is a great service. I'm probably not going to buy games anymore. Apple Music, Apple News, etc. And you know, if you get the new iPhone, you get the Apple TV service for a year. But so let's talk about this phone in particular. I like to talk about whether I think people should upgrade to this phone. This is the Midnight Green model, as you can see. And it starts at $10.99 and goes up to $14.49. And of course, you can pay that off monthly. Now, one of the reasons I'm able to get the new one is because I am on AT&T Next. That allows you to pay a little bit of a premium on the monthly, but every year you get to upgrade your device. So I think I'm paying $52 or $53 a month for this one, and then I do have to send it back to Apple or to AT&T in a year. But next year I get to get the shiny new iPhone. You know, that depends. I guess that trade-off for cost versus, usability depends on how much you want the newest device, and to me, it's important. Now, obviously, the regular 11 is cheaper, as is the regular iPhone Pro. The regular 11, I think, starts at $699 at 64 gigs, and that is a great phone for someone who doesn't want the latest and greatest. I got it for my mom in the mint green, and I set it up for her, and it's a beautiful, beautiful phone. And there's some slight differences between this and the Pro and the iPhone 11. The screen's a little different, the camera's a little different, but the chip's the same, and most of the other stuff is the same. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's talk about the Pro features. What are the Pro features on this phone? Well, we know there's this camera hump, and this some people like that camera hump, some people don't. It's not as out there as you'd think. It's kind of not noticeable. By the way, the Apple logo is now in the center of the device, but you have 3 sensors here. You have the regular sensor, which is has optical image stabilization. You have the wide-angle lens, which does not have optical image stabilization, and you have the close-up lens, which does have optical image stabilization. I don't really need these things. You guys will eventually say if these boring videos are better in terms of shooting. We're not filming, animals in the Sahara, so I don't really think you'll notice a difference. But yes, the cameras are much, much better. There's a beautiful night mode where you can take a picture in the dark with the Pro Max and the Pro, and it looks like it's not in the dark. And then they're going to be introducing a new feature very soon where it takes 3 separate photos and stitches them all together. I forget the name of that feature, but that's coming as well. That's the first thing that's a Pro feature. There's also, this isn't just on the Pro, this is on the regular 11. There's the A13 Bionic. This is a low power chip which allows you to to get much better battery life, especially on the Pro and Pro Max. The Pro Max has a 5 extra hours of battery, and the Pro has 4, and that's evidently by a low power design from that Bionic chip. Look, I think Apple's chipset is always A1. I don't think you notice the difference in Apple chips that year. I think you notice them 2 to 3 years out when they can handle the next iOSs without lagging behind, when Apple's not throttling your performance. And there's a UI chip which eventually is going to lead to the Apple tagging device that's coming out. It's sort of going to be a little circular device you'll be able to put on your in your kid's bag if you want to, on a key ring, wherever, and it'll give you real great tracking. It's sort of a tile competitor. So you have that new chip, you have that new camera. On the Pro, you have this sort of matte glass, which I have to say is really cool. It really feels like metal to me. It looks like metal to me, but if you break it, it's glass. So better get insurance. And then this is the screen brightness, and let's sort of, I know I can't really show that to you here, but it's up to 1200 nits now. That screen brightness, and wow, it's sort of, this is the iPhone XS Max camera, and it's sort of, the brightness is sort of making it look silly. And of course the fingerprints are now catching on. But what I wanted to say about that is DisplayMate did give this a A+ review. They said it's the best smartphone display currently on the market. So it's just kind of funny to me that Samsung manufactures these displays and they can't make the best display. Somehow Apple's sort of tuning them, or I forget the word. There's a word, when you get a new TV, you have to go through the steps to, you're going to know what the word is. Someone's going to leave a comment. But Apple fine-tuning these displays, calibrating is the word, these displays to their specifications to make colors accurate instead of oversaturation, which is what Samsung goes for, leads to the best display on the market. These are all LED panels. You got 1200 nits brightness, which pop doing HDR films or HDR viewing. You have spatial audio, which does nothing to do with the screen, obviously, but sort of is like leads to surround sound on 2 stereo speakers. It's Dolby compatible. So I mean, it's a beast in terms of media consumption. But then I did want to just talk. So those are the great things, right? On this Pro device, you have new cameras, you have a great new screen, you have this beautiful matte finish. Here's what I think Apple dropped the ball, what I'm not pleased about personally. One, I don't really care about bilateral charging. That was a feature that was promised, or that said was coming up. And what bilateral charging is, it means you'd be able to drop, and this is why they said they lowered the logo, you'd be able to drop a wireless AirPods case or your Apple Watch there and charge the device from your iPhone. Hey, unless you're traveling, to me, that's not super necessary. I don't love to bring every cable with me when I do go away, so I think that would have been cool. And there are rumors that there is a sort of panel on the back of the glass, if you take the phone apart, that leads people to think that bilateral charging could be a Pro feature in the future. Did they put it in there and just not want to release it? Is it something else? Nobody knows, but bilateral charging was a rumor up till the very last moment, and then Ko-Chi Ming, who's an Apple analyst, the leading Apple analyst, sort of said that was not going to be there. Not a big deal to me, a big deal to a lot of people. USB-C, another thing lacking. Apple went to USB-C with their iPad Pros. That kind of leads you to believe they're going to go the USB-C way, and it's a little bit curious why they didn't go the USB-C way with these devices, with the newest Pros. That just makes, connecting accessories a lot easier and storage a little bit easier. They did include an 18-watt charger with these to not make you slow charge, but that's the only thing you get in the box, different than the $699 iPhone 11. So there's no pencil support. I won't want to use my Apple Pencil. The 2nd generation is what I had to buy for my new iPad Pro. I think that's a little too large for the iPhone Pro Max, even the iPhone Pro. but I think they should probably at some point allow you to use a pencil. I know they can't give you every feature in 1 year because it would be tough for them the next 5 years, but I think they're eventually going to lean to some sort of pencil support in the immediate future, just so you could jot down notes if you want to as screens improve. And then the other two things I would say that I think we're a little bit lacking in this Pro model. There's no real improved camera UI. All these new features are on this new Pro phone, and the UI for the camera looks exactly like the camera on the iPhone 11. I think the settings should be right in the app, and I think there should be a lot more accessibility to these new features within the camera. And I think starting a phone for $1,100 that you call a Pro with 64 gigabyte storage is silly. It's insulting a little bit to the customer. Only including the new charger is also insulting. Samsung is including wireless headphones with the Galaxy, I'm blanking, I'm sorry, with their Galaxy Note. That's the phone. And so I think Apple should have included something else here, whether they want to do a pencil, whether they wanted to do wireless headphones, whether they wanted to include a wireless charger. I think the Pro name, you need to get more than just a third camera, and that's really all you're getting, and a slightly better display, because the display on the 11 is pretty original, pretty incredible. So all you're really getting, you're not getting increased storage size, you're not getting access to a pencil, you're not getting USB-C, you're not getting bilateral charging, you're not getting an improved camera UI, you're not getting bigger storage size, you're not getting any accessories added. Kind of makes the iPhone 11, unless you're a nerd for better screen like I am. It's all about screen for me. It's not so much about camera, as you guys could tell from my videos. Kind of makes this not a Pro phone. So that's all I'm going to say about this. It's a great phone. I love the way it is. I'm going to tell you this. I don't think you need to upgrade from the iPhone XS Max, which is what I'm filming this on and which is where I was. Anything earlier, you definitely can and should. I think if you're at the XS Max, you can wait another generation. Next year, there's going to be a major design change. There's hints that the notch are going to go away, and that notch for me is still very annoying. There's hints that that's going to go away. They're going to go to the more boxy iPhone 4 sort of design, which I think is awesome. I think the screen's going to be a lot better. I think you might get the 120 refresh rate, which is going to lead to buttery smooth scrolling. I think there's going to be some real improvements to the iPhone 12 or whatever it's going to be called. So I think if you're in the XS Max, or even perhaps the 10, wait. And I think if you're anything lower, this is a great time to upgrade. Anyway, guys, that's it. That is my sort of quick, even though it's been almost 13 minutes, take on the iPhone X Pro, iPhone 11 Pro. If you have any other questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I know there's a lot of people that don't give a fuck about these videos, but I still do them because I like to. And yeah, that's it, guys. I'll see you again real soon with more videos. Any questions, again, please feel free to leave me a comment, and I'll try to answer them. I'm pretty tech. I'm not maybe the most tech savvy guy in the world, but I'm really staying into tech and sort of try to stay in the cutting edge of it. So I feel like I can answer some questions if you have them. And I'll see you again real soon with more videos, guys. You already know what it is. My name obviously is Maximilian.
With a man up above, trying to slam it in your face. Ain't a man that's above, but I plan to levitate. And it ain't a camera trick, man. It ain't a David Blaine. I'm a motherfucking beast. I'm a damn orangutan. What's the problem? Yes, it'll make it. Yeah, I called it. Game full of